Hello people of the internet. I hope you liked the start of this video. That was something different to what I would normally do, but I really enjoyed doing it. It meant that I got a chance to work with Beau on this. He filmed it at his house, I filmed it here, and then he sent me the footage and I tied it together. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing. Please hit the bell as well to be notified every time that I upload, and don't forget to hit that like button, or not. It's your life. You decide what you want to do. So let's actually talk about what this video is. This video is a deck review for Beau Cremer's Ristretto coffee deck. So the deck is called Ristretto. The company is Howlin. In fact, before we actually talk about the deck, take a look at some quick B-roll that I shot of the deck. I've been in your waters. So that's not my usual style of B-roll. We're in lockdown, so obviously I can't shoot it how I would have wanted to, because I wanted my hand to come down and drop it on the table. I couldn't do that. I shoot on a Lumix GH5 and the autofocus on that is right? No ifs or buts about it. Even with the update, but I love the camera. The slow-mo on it is incredible. The actual quality of the camera is brilliant. Gotta compromise where you can. The reason that I'm mentioning this is even when I used to use Canon cameras, I prefer to shoot manually. So if I'm moving the deck down and I wanted to bring it down on the table, I'd have to track the movement of the card. I would rack focus. So as it's moving closer, I would watch the screen to see when it's coming in and out of focus. So I would turn the focus ring as I'm moving. Obviously, I can't do that one-handed. So I tried to think of other ways to film this that just still looked good. Yeah, so that's not my usual style, but I enjoyed it. It was different, it was a challenge. It's done. So let's get into the meat of what this video actually is. So I discovered this deck through Beau when he put up his Kickstarter. At the time, I was doing lots of different things. I'm still not a card guy. I am primarily a mentalist. Through lots of different reasons. I have bad fingers, so a lot of the sort of card moves and sleights and stuff, I can't actually do them. I have to create my own moves just to be able to perform some of the simplest effects, because I can't do the same sleights as what other magicians do. However, I do love cards. I love the look, I love the way that they feel. Different card stock actually benefits me in the way that I'm able to use the deck. You'll all know the difference when, especially if you perform different sleights, different card stock feels differently, it helps with certain moves. I do prefer a slightly thicker card to a thinner card. Say for instance, if we were doing a double lift, I can't tell if I've got 2, 3 or 4, whereas with the thicker stock, I can feel it a lot better. But this is all beside the point. The point is to actually discuss the deck. I have fallen in love with this deck for a few different reasons. Number one, it is related to coffee. Anyone that knows me knows that I love coffee. I drink probably too much coffee on a regular basis. Something I'm working on, trying to reduce my coffee intake, trying to drink more water. So he went on Kickstarter with it and he did incredibly well with it. What he did is he created a standard version, a scented version, and a limited edition one, which was the dark roast. In his words, with gold foil oozing sexiness. I couldn't agree more. Such a shame that I missed out on those limited edition ones. However, I'm so happy for these ones. Now you're probably wondering about the scented deck, if it is actually scented. Yes, it's not as strong as I thought it was going to be. You could definitely smell that coffee scent to it. So the actual cards smell of coffee. Again, like I say, not a strong scent, but it is noticeable. And on the inside of the flap, there is like a scratch and sniff. And if you rub that, scratch it, you can smell it. So let's start by looking at the tuck case. So the actual designs of this deck is done by Andy Hamilton, who's based in Bangor. He's done an incredible job with this. Let's start with the seal. Actually has a custom printed sticker, and I love that. If you've ever gone into a Kickstarter to back a deck, the decks don't necessarily come with a seal, and I love the fact that this does. Let's move on to the actual front design. It is like a barista style menu, even down to like the sort of the coffee stains on there. I mean, if you're going to do a coffee deck, why wouldn't you have a coffee stain, a coffee ring? It makes sense. It looks good, it's simple, it's in keeping with the theme of this. So on the front of the deck it says, a quality blend of the finest playing cards, tricky roast, smooth, sweet and unbalanced. Now if you've seen the trailer that Beau put together for this, and you understand Howlin Jack, the unbalanced nature of it, and Beau, unbalanced makes sense. I love the fact that he's put smooth and sweet, because that's one of the things that I consider Beau to be, and also absolutely mental. I'll tell you a quick story about me and Beau. The first time that I met Beau, we were at the Session convention. We literally clicked. We were literally stood at the bar, stroking each other's knees, just talking, people walking past going, he's just a funny guy, he's my sense of humour, which is unbalanced. Anyway, back to the deck. It is a standard poker size, which is what it says on there. It says standard size, smoking design. Couldn't agree more. On this side, it has the website name. Everything will be down in the description of how to get these, etc. There is actually a warning printed on the side of the deck. If you have allergies, you know to check for allergens. Now down to the back of the deck. So personally, I like the back and I like the front, but I would have done it slightly differently. And that's just my personal taste, my personal choice. So I would have had the Howlin' Jack logo on the front. Now in design work, I understand why they've done it, because it sort of takes away from the idea of the deck to a degree. That's just my personal taste. A lot like my photography, it is not to everyone's taste. It is art. Art is subjective. Our industry is subjective. So he's actually created a bit of a backstory on the back and done like using Parr's Old Still head roaster. Howlin' Jack brewed a deck that's both food for the eyes and delicious enough to palm in refined company. Now I've got dyslexia, so that's actually a bit of a struggle for me to read, especially the size, but it is funny. Before we open this and look at the deck itself, I want to explain why that's reflecting. Now, I still got the bottom half of the cellophane on. There's a reason for this. Firstly, it helps to protect the actual tuck case. I don't actually have a card clip, so keeping the cards safe, this is the next best thing for me. It stops the tops from getting dog-eared, and because I like the way that this looks, I want to try and keep it as best as I can. So the other reason for keeping that on there is, if you know the Effect by Daniel Madison Angle Z, I use it there. A couple of my friends in the Magic community who have seen me perform this have actually started doing this themselves. So yeah, food for thought. So let's actually open this and take a look at the cards. When he said that he'd created a deck that smelled of coffee, I was a bit like, can you really get a coffee scent in there? You can. It's not the strongest of smells, but you can smell it. Now, the actual rub to release, if you remember those magazines that had this scratch and sniff on there, it's a bit like that. They were never the strongest of smells, because obviously through opening, it's gonna dissipate slightly. It's a bit like when you put your aftershave or perfume on, that scent slowly fades. It's obviously never going to be as strong as when it's first put on there, and through time it will lose its scent. I've tried to keep these closed as much as I can to keep that scent in there. You can smell it. So let's actually look at the cards. So I've actually opened these to film the B-roll with. So in the deck you get a blank card. So you actually get a duplicate card. This one is the 8 spades. I'm not sure if they're all the 8 spades. Custom jokers. We like a good custom joker. I believe that's supposed to be Andy Hamilton in a tiger outfit, because the other joker is Andy Hamilton. So Andy Hamilton is the designer who's done all the graphics for this. Amazing job, mate. Amazing job. So the actual cards, look at that. Wow, that's good. So the back design, I love the white silver foil on it. It just stands out. It looks class. So they've obviously gone with the coffee rings on there. In the middle they've got the R from the Ristretto. It's not directional, it is a mirrored image, which is cool. I like that. The court cards are directional, which is, for me, I would have preferred a mirrored image, but again, that's my personal taste, because you'll find that things like that happen in the deck. So if you're shuffling, mixing, you get them. It's a small thing, but that's just me. So let's discuss the court cards. I enjoy what he's done with this, because he's not just stuck with people in the Magic community. He's used his family, his friends, and of course, Howlin Jack. How can you have a company called Howlin Jack and not include him in the deck? The Jack of Spades is John Stessel, great cardist, absolute legend. So the Queen of Hearts is Beau's wife. But seriously, it looks amazing. Got to include your partner in it, I suppose. So the Queen of Spades is Ellie Denault. She's a friend of Beau's. She's a mixologist. I never met her, but according to Beau, she's worth putting in a deck. So the Ace of Diamonds is Dalton Wayne. Your hair is sick. So somebody else that I've had the pleasure of meeting, incredible guy, really nice guy, very funny guy, great magician, is Wes Baker, the Ace of Clubs. Next we have the Jack of Hearts, Nic Suriano. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce his last name. He is a magician and a filmmaker, very talented guy. He's based out in Vegas. You need to check him out. We then have the King of Clubs, Nathan Darma. Nathan is a friend of Beau's. He's Australian. He is a magician, and you should check out his Instagram. He's got some really crazy photos on there, like really crazy, really cool. Then we have the Queen of Diamonds, HD, as Beau would say, if you know, you know. Then we have the King of Diamonds, one of my favourite cards in here, because again, another friend of mine and a great creator, probably one of the best I've seen in a long time, which is Sir Tom Elderfield. I've knighted you, Tom. Sir Tom Elderfield. Then we have the King of Hearts, Matt Tarrant, another Australian magician and mentalist. Check out his Instagram, some great posts on there. Then we have the legend that is Xavier Spade at the King of Spades. Nothing more to be said. Then we have Cartamundi legend Jirs, Ace of Hearts. Then we have the Queen of Clubs, Amanda Rosenberg. I don't know much about her. Again, Beau liked her enough to put her in the deck. Must be cool. We're now down to the last 2 court cards, and of course you have to include people that are close to you and people that you like. He's included his brother, the Jack of Diamonds. And of course, if you're going to do a deck and put people as the court cards, you have to include yourself. The Jack of Clubs, Beau. So that's everyone that's in the deck. They clearly mean something to Beau for them to go into the deck, which says a lot. They're not just magicians and mentalists, they're people that have inspired him, they're friends. That's something that I really like about this deck, is he hasn't just gone, well, these are the biggest magicians and mentalists in the industry, I need to include them because it will get people to buy them. No, that's not the way to do it. The way to do it is to include people that you admire, that you want to actually sit down and have a coffee with. That to me says everything about Beau as a person as well, which is why I wanted to start these deck reviews off by reviewing this one. So let's talk about the actual artwork that's gone into this. It reminds me of that sort of, the band, the Gorillaz. the artwork, the graphics that they used for that, it just looks cool. And the detail of like each one is, they've got them doing something in there. They're not just like stood there posing. They're actually, like Beau, for instance, sat in his coffee cup. You've got Ellie Denault, because she's a mixologist, you've got her holding a shot glass. The detail in the pips are quality, because they're in keeping with the theme of like the coffee stain. A lot of the design on this is revolved around the coffee stains. I just love the detail in the pips as well. The pips just seem really cool. They're not standard, which if you're going to do a custom deck, don't do standard pips. So let's talk about the stock. These are printed by Cartamundi, and if you know anything about Cartamundi, you'll know that they produce incredible cards. If you haven't heard of Cartamundi, I highly recommend them. They really take pride and care into these. For me at the moment, they're the best company to actually use for printing at the moment. I've had them open for about 3 or 4 days now, and I've used them all day, practicing, shuffling, dropping them, throwing them. I can't give you that in-depth reviews in the sense of how long they will last or anything like that, but knowing Cartamundi stock, they will probably last a very long time. The stock is Cartamundi's B9 Slimline. I can't tell you the actual difference between them. All I can tell you is that I like this. It feels nice. I don't know what it is about Cartamundi stock. It just feels nicer. It's all about how it feels in your hand. Now, whether I say this feels great, it does. That doesn't matter. What matters is how it feels to you. Now, I could say this is the best deck in the world. To me, it probably is. But to you guys, you need to actually feel them to actually understand what I mean. It feels like I could use these for a long time and still get a lot of use out of it. I believe it's the same stock as the cohorts. So you'll probably know more about stock than I do. I like the way it feels. I like the way that it handles for me and my style and my use. All in all, I can say I love this deck. I think it's well worth picking up. And if you do want to pick one up, use code Casper at the Howlin Jacks checkout. I'm so excited about that. I've got a discount code to offer people on a deck. It means a lot to me to be able to give back to you guys that are watching this. If I can offer something as simple as like 10% off, and I appreciate Beau for doing that. He was the one that offered the discount code to give to you guys. You gotta love the man. Would I recommend these? Absolutely. Whether you are a magician, a mentalist, or you perform cardistry, this deck belongs in your collection. I want to thank you, Beau, again for giving me that discount code to offer my viewers 10% off the Ristretto deck. Like I said, I don't know everything about cards. This is just my opinion of the deck. So that's it for this video. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Hit that notification bell so you'll be notified every time I upload a video. And as always, till next time, take it easy.